Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the marketplace. Coming up, Ghana's oil production expected to rebound in 2024 with an anticipated increase of 5%. Also coming up, cedi depreciation having an impact on the already struggling poultry industry as cost of feed shoots up.
The greater, about 70% comes from cost of feed. And because the inputs are very expensive, the other ingredients are being affected by the dollar rate.
Meanwhile, the Canada-Ghana Chamber of Commerce calls for urgent measures to address the exchange rate challenges.
The exchange rate has really affected businesses, and it's affected the price of things in general. And so the exchange rate is one thing.
My name is Daryl. Kwawu. Details coming up. Don't go anywhere. Well, in our first story, Ghana's oil production is expected to rebound in 2024 with an anticipated increase of 5%. According to Fitch Solutions, this recovery is expected to be driven by Tullow Oil's extensive drilling campaign at the Jubilee and 10. Here's more in this report. Fitch Solutions, however, said a temporary plateau is foreseen after this surge until Pecan starts production, which is not expected until 2027 at the earliest. It said oil production would remain bullish, but contingent on Pecan reaching final investment decision this year. Following operational setbacks in 2023 that led to a significant decline in production from the Jubilee and 10 fields, Fitch Solutions projected a rebound in oil production growth in 2024 with an anticipated increase of 5% to 177,120 barrels per day. If Pecan's final investment decision is confirmed by the end of 2024, Fitch Solutions foresees Ghana's oil production reaching its peak at 238,980 barrels per day in 2029. This projection is cautious considering the persistent historical delays in Pecan's final investment decision over the past 3 years. Whilst drilling will pause in 2024, it is slated to resume and conclude in 2025, suggesting continued investment in and development of Ghana's oil production capabilities. Fitch Solutions continued that the complications experienced in the Jubilee and 10 fields in 2023 were particularly damaging, with production in the first half of the year dropping significantly compared to the same period in 2022. It said issues such as flow assurance problems, reduced water injection, and temporary halts in well operations were to blame. Although these issues have since been resolved, they led to estimated declines of 9.5% in crude and condensate production in 2023. Now, the Petroleum Commission says it is committed to ensuring players in the upstream petroleum sector deliver on their mandate without conflicts with fisherfolk. Inaugurating a committee made up of various stakeholders, including security agencies and fish farmers, the Commission aims to settle territorial disputes which often arise between fish farmers as well as offshore and onshore companies.
The need to establish a committee to resolve confrontations between security agencies and fisherfolks became necessary when the Ghana National Canoe Fishermen Council passionately appealed for the implementation of a physical demarcation to avoid conflict at sea. The 9-member committee, which was inaugurated, will have oversight responsibility of resolving disagreements arising from canoe incursions within 500 meters exclusive zone around oil fields. In an address read on behalf of the Chief Executive of Petroleum Commission, the Commission expressed its commitment to ensure players in the upstream petroleum sector deliver their mandates and coexist peacefully with fisherfolks.
It is with great pleasure and a sense of purpose that we gather here today to launch the Conflict Prevention and Resolution Committee. As we embark on this journey, we are not just establishing another administrative body, we are laying the foundation for a more harmonious, equitable, and productive environment within which the upstream petroleum industry operates. This has become necessary following repeated allegations and, in some cases, proven incidents of altercations between fishermen and personnel from some security services at sea.
Nana Kwawu Boateng is the Director of Local Content and Chairman of the committee.
The call to duty has come at an appropriate time, given the unique challenges facing the petroleum industry, especially in the area of energy transition, in the area whereby the citizenry are making a lot of demands on companies operating in extractive industry. This gathering today, this afternoon, signifies a significant moment in our journey as we strive to tackle the challenges before us. And we are optimistic that through effective collaboration, we will navigate through these challenges.
Now, moving to other news, some poultry farmers are lamenting the high cost of production due to the cedi depreciation. According to them, the loss in value of the local currency has contributed to an increase in prices of feed. The national president of the Women in Poultry Value Chain, Dr. Victoria Nogbe, spoke to Joy Business on the sidelines of a forum organized by the Economic and Trade Mission of Israel to Ghana to optimize Ghana's poultry value chain through partnerships.
The poultry sector contributes about 14% of the country's agricultural GDP. The sector supplies 57,671 metric tons of poultry meat, leaving a shortfall in demand of 162,129 metric tons. Over the years, the Israeli embassy to Ghana, through the Economic and Trade Mission of Israel, have taken steps to develop partnerships and share technical knowledge to improve the local industry. Dr. Victoria Nogbe, the national president of the Women in Poultry Value Chain, highlights the depreciating cedi as one of the many challenges hampering the growth of the poultry value chain in Ghana.
I think the feed sector is where critical attention should be paid because our cost of production, the greater, about 70% comes from cost of feed. And because the inputs are very expensive, the other ingredients are being affected by the dollar rate because they are being imported. It makes our feed so expensive. And for that matter, our products become very uncompetitive if we compare it to the imported products in the country. So attention should be paid to the feed value chain at that spot. And then after that, when it is produced, how do you sell it? Sometimes you get the feed you produce, but the processing and the packaging and the marketing is a problem. So there's a need to pay attention to those key areas, even though all the other areas are necessary because it's a chain. If you don't get the chicks, you cannot move on.
Yaniv Tessel, the head of Economic and Trade Mission to Ghana, believes the right partnerships could support the expansion of the country's poultry sector.
I think in Ghana there are many farmers. I think one of the things the Israeli company can help with is help scaling up, not only by size, but only in the level and the productivity. I think one thing that we're good at Israel is productivity. We know how to grow more or make more with less inputs. So I think this is something we can affect. If we can provide better feed, better vaccines, if we transfer know-how, how to develop and build turnkey projects here in Ghana, I think we can support in scaling up the industry.
The forum was dubbed Optimizing Ghana's Poultry Value Chain by Exploring Israeli Poultry Solutions. Yaniv shares the objectives of the forum.
The objective is bring together Ghanaian stakeholders, Ghanaian farmers, and Israeli technology providers. So what do we want? We want to create a dialogue. We want to plant the seeds to form partnerships. We want the guests here today will start business conversations on possible models of collaborating here in Ghana, either buying the technologies or doing joint investments through joint ventures.
Now, the Canada-Ghana Chamber of Commerce says its members are being affected by the exchange rate volatility. They say an urgent move is needed to address the challenge. The Chamber's new president, Linda Vasnani, is calling for partnership from banks to push their businesses. She spoke to Joy Business at the annual general meeting of the Chamber.
The Chamber urged local banks to support businesses in project financing. Linda Vasnani explained that this is key to supporting businesses to take advantage of other foreign markets to support the economy.
There are a few pressing issues. The first one is the exchange rate. We all know that the exchange rate has really affected businesses, and it affected the price of things in general. And so the exchange rate is one thing. The other thing that has really affected us is that it would be good to get more support from the banks. Okay, a lot of the banks in Ghana, they don't do project financing. And so it would be good if we can collaborate with the banks, do project financing, just to take our businesses to the other level. Because if you look at a lot of multinational companies in Ghana, they get financing at things like 3% from other countries. And we can't, as local companies, compete with that. So it's really important that, the banks start thinking of project financing as well. That will help us a lot.
The Chamber strives to promote the interests of its members and conveys their views to decision makers in industry and government.
You're watching The Marketplace. Now, the Public Procurement Authority says it is poised to ensure transparency through the reduction of human element in Ghana's procurement processes. Deputy Chief Executive Officer Kwame said the authority will further explore areas to ensure a paperless system, and there will be no need for the traditional printouts of tender documents. He spoke to Joy Business at a workshop with some suppliers.
The training was part of the Public Procurement Authority effort in ensuring fairness and deepening relationship with the private sector suppliers to do business with government. According to the Deputy CEO of PPA, with the introduction of the GANEPS, procurement processes has become paperless to support the authority's operations.
Today was about the training of the suppliers. Now, when we say suppliers within the procurement environment, we are talking about the consultants, the contractors, and also the usual suppliers of goods to the public sector. So we're here training them on the use of the Ghana Electronic Procurement System, which started in November 2019 with the implementation. So far, we've rolled the system out to all government entities. And as government entities are using it, we need the private sector to also be knowledgeable on the system so that they can continue to serve the public sector. Because once a tender has been published, it's the private sector that will respond to it and provide the goods and services to government. So that's why we've gathered here today to ensure that they are well trained on the system and they'll be able to continue to do business with government. Some of the benefits of the system is that it's increasing transparency within the procurement space. For suppliers that are gathered here today, it is also going to reduce the cost of doing business with government. For example, the tenders will be available for download on the system.
The participants were from various sectors of the economy and across the 16 regions in Ghana.
Now, the Namibian High Commissioner to Ghana, Selma Ashipala Musavi, is calling on African governments to, including Ghana, to domesticate set protocols that would help women thrive in trade activities. According to her, proper implementation of protocols such as the AFTA Protocol of Women and Youth in Trade would help in the transformation of economies. She was speaking at the 4th Women in Trade Conference.
4th Women in Trade Conference by the Women of Africa Network provided a platform for participants to deliberate on ways to address some of the challenges faced by women in trade. In an interview, Namibian High Commissioner to Ghana, Selma Ashipala Musavi, called on African governments to put in place protocols that will empower and grow trade activities of women.
I think what every government needs to do, we need to domesticate the protocol. We need to take this protocol to the women for them to know that there is
a little bit of a challenge there. We'll bring you that story once we have the full piece for you. But let's turn to show business, because it's a Friday. The Asante opened the week by officially inaugurating the magnificent Otumfuo Setutu II Jubilee Hall in Kumasi. This grand multi-purpose hall promises to be a cornerstone of cultural heritage and economic growth in the Ashanti region. Well, shedding more light on this achievement is culture journalist Kenneth Awatre, who has keenly monitored the developments for today's showbiz segment. So, Ken, provide us with an overview of the Otumfuo Osei II Jubilee Hall and its significance to the Asante Kingdom.
Daryl, remember some weeks back we were having a conversation right on this segment about some ancient artifacts that were being returned to the Ashanti Kingdom by some museums in the United Kingdom and the US as well. Now, one of the things that came up in that discussion was the fact that there was going to be a museum in Menchia that was going to be housing these artifacts. Now, when it comes to infrastructure in the Ashanti Kingdom, there has been a very big development, which happens to be the unveiling of the 7,000 capacity auditorium, which has been dubbed the Jubilee Hall in the Asante Kingdom. Now, this is on the premises of the Menchia Palace, and the Asante Kingdom Otumfuo Osei II has indicated how much of a significance that this facility is going to be to the people of the Asante region when it comes to like the cultural events, when it comes to traditional events, ceremonial events, among others. This is going to be a one-stop shop for everything in that bracket as well. And it has been welcomed by many people, both in the traditional and also the formal space, which goes a long way to, indicate how ready that the Ashanti Kingdom is when it comes to the celebration of the Asante Hennes 25th Jubilee anniversary celebration that has been celebrated from the beginning of this year as well, Daryl.
So what inspired the construction of this impressive hall, and what role did the Asante Otumfuo Osei II play in bringing this vision to fruition?
The whole idea behind the Jubilee Hall was to basically promote the history and culture of the Asante people. Now, this was the mindset behind erection of this particular structure, and we are told that the project was also financed personally by the Asante Otumfuo Osei II himself, which basically shows how valuable he sees the need to promote the story of his own people. Now, this has been, touted by experts as a very good move because it doesn't only promote the culture of the people, but also attracts very, important economic benefits, because this will also see the influx of tourists from other areas to come to the communities in that region just to basically see these things and also invest, in the activities of the area as well. So it has been lauded by experts as a very brilliant move.
The architectural design of the Jubilee Hall seems unique. I'm hoping that we can show bits of it for our audience. Do you know what elements are incorporated into this design?
Absolutely, Daryl. Now, the building basically combines a very beautiful blend of modern architecture with the very typical quintessence of a very traditional Ashanti household, and that is how the architects ensure that the building stands out. Now, even at the entrance of this facility, you'd realize that there are a lot of Edikra symbols being displayed over there. So just by lifting your head and looking at the wall, you'd learn a lot about the culture itself. Also, there is the display of what we know as the golden stool, or Sikajakufi as it's called by the Ashanti people, which was conjured by Okonfa Anoche himself as well. So these are some facilities. Also, there is the 2,000-seater acoustic auditorium within this particular building, which means that you would realize that it was very well thought through, and it's very much expected that it will be used to the most, optimal levels by these particular people. So it's basically tailored to pay homage to the culture of the people, basically.
And finally, Ken, what impact do you envision the Jubilee Hall would have on the Asante Kingdom, the wider community, and on the events business?
Now, Daryl, when it comes to impact, the Jubilee Hall basically is not just a venue. It will also go on to boost the pride of the Asante people when it comes to their culture and their heritage, including identity as well. Now, by providing this particular space for both traditional ceremonies, cultural ceremonies, amongst other gatherings, it's also going to promote some economic activities in the area and also go further to boost that particular sense of community that every people need to be able to thrive in a harmonious manner. Now, beyond all of this, also has the potential to attract tourists as well. Investors are going to be, keen on exploring that particular area. And also when it comes to the international stage and the national stage, of course, this is going to be a very economically viable, activity that will project the region on the national scale as well. So these are very important impacts that cannot be glossed over when it comes to the significance of a building as unique as this one that was unveiled on Monday, the Jubilee Hall in the Ashanti region.
So much, Ken. Just for the benefit of our audience, maybe we can show bits of that magnificent edifice that Ken has been talking to us about, the Jubilee Hall that has been unveiled. There you go. Certainly going to boost tourism, if you like, in that part of the country as people throng that edifice, hold events over there. The Jubilee Hall of the Asante Kingdom there. We want to take you back to an earlier story to do with trade, and as we have been reporting, the Namibian High Commissioner to Ghana, Selma Ashipala Musavi, is calling on African governments, including Ghana, to domesticate said protocols that would help women thrive in trade activities. Here's more.
Fourth Women in Trade Conference by the Women of Africa Network provided a platform for participants to deliberate on ways to address some of the challenges faced by women in trade. In an interview, Namibian High Commissioner to Ghana, Selma Ashipala Musavi, called on African governments to put in place protocols that would empower and grow trade activities of women.
I think what every government needs to do, we need to domesticate the protocol. We need to take this protocol to the women for them to know that there is an instrument in existence, and also teach them how to take advantage of this protocol. Secondly, I think it is important that the AU Assembly, we must basically periodically gauge the implementation of protocol. Who is lagging behind? Who's making advancement? How can they share their experiences? Everybody must come to the table. So it should not just be an instrument that exists for the sake of existing, but we must be able to measure the implementation, to measure how women are succeeding, how they are using this protocol to trade successfully.
Group Executive of the AFCFTA Policy Network, Louis Afo, also entreated women to actively engage in networking activities in order to be able to broaden their trade endeavors.
So what we're going to do is that we are encouraging the establishment of more women associations in trade. Establishment of more women associations in trade. We are encouraging more participation at the network level. We are also speaking to governments to look at how they can review the women in trade accessibility, especially in terms of funding, in terms of grants, so that women will be able to have access. We used to have women banking. The bank needs to be revamped. It was really supporting grassroots, peripheral basis.
Government was also urged to prioritize advancing funding to women-owned businesses.
And finally, for today, security solutions provider Virtual Security Africa is urging businesses to invest in electronic security solutions as it launches a showroom in the Ashanti region. The company believes security systems are necessary to safeguard assets and deter burglars from entering into properties. There's more in this report.
Virtual Security Africa has its new showroom at Santasi TUC in Kumasi. Speaking at the official opening of the showroom, the Director of Sales and Marketing noted the organization is committed in enhancing security at homes and businesses through its modern security gadgets. According to Nana Kofi Owusu-Ansah, electronic security is the cheapest preventive measure to protect business and personal assets.
Virtual security is one of the leading security solutions companies in Ghana, in fact, in Africa. We would like as many as may want their projects, their investments and assets protected. Security is everything. In this day and age, every company needs to protect its assets, especially its employees and their investments. You also have to protect these assets against unforeseen emergencies.
Nana Kofi Ansah revealed the company has plans of expanding its showrooms and offices to other regions.
And this is an expansion to serve the middle belt. But we also have plans to expand to the other regions which have not been directly captured under our branches. So we intend to open other offices in some of the other regions. As a matter of fact, we've even gone international. We've been to Liberia and do some work there.
Sales, marketing and communication executive Esther Abuajiwa explained some promotional packages customers will enjoy.
But the promotion we are running now, if you purchase any camera system, whether a 4-channel, an 8-channel or 16-channel, we give you either the GSM alarm system for free or the video intercom system for free. And then with the promotion, the promotion is also open for payment plans. We are on promotion, we are giving you free gadgets, and we are also giving you a payment plan up to 6 months, 3 to 6 months. You can pay a certain percentage, and when we are through with you, you pay the rest in installments.
As part of the launch, the company donated food items to Cherub's Children's Home. For Joy News, Anita Sewa Ajugan reporting.
All right, and that's it for our program. Thanks for watching, everyone. More news on our website, myjoyonline.com/business. Our top story today, Ghana's oil production to rebound in 2024, growing by 5%. Fitch Solutions also, Fitch Solutions projecting 19% average inflation for Ghana in 2024. Plenty to read over the weekend. My name is Daryl. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week.